Oh, well, what a day. I've had a bit of a challenging day today. I had a meeting to attend, and it was a little bit challenging for a change. And on the way home, I was reflecting on why it may have been challenging, and started to think about how I'd prepared myself for the meeting, and if my mindset wasn't quite in the right place. So I thought perhaps I would share a few little insights with you to help you prepare and think about meetings. Basically, we seem to have meetings for everything these days. Could be a business meeting, it could be a family meeting, but meetings are happening all around us, and sometimes it's not always necessary to have loads of meetings, and we can do things via Zoom these days and have other ways of interacting. But whatever meeting we're going into, we need to make sure that we're mentally prepared for that meeting. And that's everybody. That's that's involved in that meeting. Everybody is responsible for the way that they attend that meeting and the prep that they do before that meeting. So obviously when we set a meeting, generally there'll be an agenda, maybe not in some cases, but it's all of our responsibilities to make sure that meeting goes to plan and makes everybody feel included and brings a sense of accountability to everybody as well. So if you're a guest at the meeting, then make sure that you ask to see the agenda. And if the agenda's not giving you all the information that you want, make sure that you ask for that extra information. It's the responsibility of the meeting organiser to ensure that everybody feels informed and included in what they want to say in that meeting. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask for the agenda ahead of the meeting. Ask if there's any additional information you need to know, so that you feel prepared for that meeting. And if you're the one setting the meeting, make sure you give everyone plenty of time to add anything to the agenda that they might like to add. So you might want to get that agenda out a week or 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Ask anybody if they want to add anything, and then make sure everybody's got the agenda and any additional information that they might need so that they come prepared to the meeting. So the other thing about attending a meeting, it's not just about the agenda, it's not just about the subject that you're talking about, it's about making sure that you're in the right headspace to attend a meeting. So before you attend the meeting, before you get to the meeting, have a think to yourself. Think, am I open to new ideas? Do I want an argument? Am I going to this meeting because I have to go? And am I ready? Am I prepared for this meeting? So ask yourself those few questions and see what answers you give yourself. And if you think your headspace isn't quite right, if you're not prepared for the meeting, if you're only going because you have to go, and if you're absolutely decided that you're going to have an argument because there's some contentious point on the agenda, think about how you can bring yourself back and create some space in your mind to go into that meeting with a little bit more of a calmer attitude, with a little bit more of an open mind, and see if you can get your point across in a constructive way and in a good way. Because once people start arguing, once people start being aggressive and confrontational, then everybody's headspace changes, and it won't be a productive meeting. So think about your own headspace. Everybody in that meeting has a responsibility of their own to make sure that they attend that meeting in the best frame of mind that they can. And it's not always easy because we've all got stuff going on. It might be personal stuff we've got going on. It might be work stuff we've got going on. And it's hard. It's hard to calm the mind. But just stop before you go into that meeting. Maybe write yourself a few notes. Maybe if you're feeling all fired up and you're ready for an argument, maybe write down those things that you wanted to argue about. And perhaps once you've got them on paper, it may not seem such a massive issue, and you may feel that you can talk about them in a calmer way. So that's a little bit of a strategy to approach a meeting, and just to think about our own mental headspace before we get in that meeting. But also when we're in the meeting, if things are starting to get heated, if you're not getting your point across, if you're feeling frustrated, if you don't feel you're being listened to, it is perfectly okay to ask for some break time, a coffee break, a comfort break, you know, and that might be absolutely the best thing to do at that moment, because everybody can just disperse, everyone can have some time with their own thoughts, grab a coffee, whatever it is they want to do, you know, get a bit of fresh air, and having that few minutes, 5-10 minutes, just of some brain space, it can calm and diffuse the situation. And then when you come back together, you can start afresh. And you can still have your debates, and you can still talk about the outcomes that you want, but perhaps you can do it in a calmer and more constructive way. And if you're presented with something that you don't know anything about and you feel like you're on the back foot, it's absolutely okay to ask for some reflection time and say, do you know what? I haven't had time to think about this. I don't really know what I think about this, so I'd like some time. And that might be time within the meeting, or it might be that you want to say, I need a couple of days to think about that. So again, don't react in a negative, aggressive way and well, I don't know anything about this, and because that's just going to make the situation worse. It's perfectly acceptable to ask for some reflection time. So perhaps if I'd gone into my meeting today with a little bit of a better headspace, then perhaps I wouldn't have been feeling quite as challenged and irritated when I came out. And I was challenged and irritated with myself because I knew that I didn't prepare myself properly for that meeting. And if I had done, then I wouldn't be feeling like I did when I'd finished. The outcome of the meeting was good. It was all fine, but I was still not in the space that I wanted to be. So I thought I might share that with you. It might be helpful next time you're going into a meeting to think about your headspace, to think about where your colleagues or your family or your friends' headspace may be ahead of this meeting, and just try and think before you react, and think before you approach the meeting, and just break down a few barriers in your mind so that you're ready and open to ideas and discussions in a constructive way. Because once it gets out of hand, it's no good for anybody, and you won't agree anything, you won't resolve anything, and you won't move forward. Meetings are supposed to be constructive, they're supposed to be interesting, they're supposed to be fun. You know, not all meetings have to be serious, but if we make sure we're prepared as much as we can ahead of that meeting, then hopefully the meeting will turn out to be a really good experience. So I'm just going to leave you with that thought. Yeah, try that little strategy out, see how you get on, and let me know. And I think I'm going to go and maybe have a glass of wine, and that will probably calm me down tonight. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.